It may take generations for the system to change, to prevent poor kids from going from school directly into a prison. It may take generations to work that out. But we have a crisis now we have to answer. And that crisis is 2.2 million Americans. They are all sitting in prison, and almost all of them are coming home.
I sold drugs at a very early age. I was one of the first adolescents to get arrested for an adult crime, for a sale of narcotics. There's a thing called the onset age when one actually gets arrested. And normally when one gets arrested at an early age, it continues, the cycle continues. And so it happened like that for me. The cycle continued for 30-something odd years. A chronic recidivist. There was times that I would do 5 years, 7 years, 4 years, 3 years. So that cycle was just broken back in March 2014.
On various times I've been released with nothing more to go on than what I had when I initially went in. And that led to multiple incarcerations that spanned over 21 years. I always say this because in 2008, during my last incarceration, it wasn't until that my involvement in coming into the Doe Fund that pattern changed.
This is the Peter J. Sharp Center for Opportunity. This is a 400-bed facility. It's our largest facility, and it's home to the Ready, Willing, and Able program. Ready, Willing, and Able is a 9-month program that takes guys who are coming home from prison, coming off the streets. These are men who really have been outcasts from mainstream society, and while people tend to think about folks who are in prison a certain way, or folks who are on the street in a certain way, maybe they think that there's something they've done wrong that's gotten them there, or they have a belief that you've gone to prison because somehow you're a bad person or a worse person than the rest of us. The most important thing about this program is that it proves that everyone has the potential to be a part of our society. Everyone has the potential to contribute to their families. And we prove that by providing people opportunity. And when you provide someone an opportunity, their whole lives can be transformed. And what we learn is that what leads to the streets, what leads to homelessness, what leads to prison, it isn't about bad actions or bad people. It's about a lack of opportunity.
People think that when a cell door opens, when it's unlocked, then you're free. Okay? That's just not true. Getting your freedom back from incarceration means you have to be able to participate in all the aspects of civic life that comprise a good life here. And one of the most important things you have to have access to is the mainstream economy.
There's been various research has done and shown that most men they recommit crimes within the first 3 years upon their release. With that information and what we have at our disposal, what we find that most men said that through the lack of economic opportunities, through the lack of educational opportunities, through the lack of support and having a way out or having a ladder out, that they found themselves pretty much stuck in the same cycle in communities with no way out, and which usually and eventually led to more crimes. I will say again that the lack of investment for rehabilitation through that within our criminal justice system continues to perpetuate that cycle.
Ending up in the criminal justice system started very early for me. In the neighborhood that I was raised in, this neighborhood was pretty much a dumping ground for drugs, criminal activity.
This is the focal point of hard drug addiction in the United States. The urban ghettos house nearly 3/4 of the hardcore addicts, with New York's teeming slums far out in front.
I never got outside of that. It also started from the home also, because there was a lot of drug abuse within the home, which kind of led me outside of the home, or trying to get outside of that situation that I was in, trying to find some, I guess, some peace or something normal, and winding up going outside of the home, and it was more rampant there than it was inside the home. And so getting sucked into that market.
I think that when we talk about mass incarceration and why it's happened, you can't ignore race in America. These are deep, deep, deep wounds, deep imbalances, deep prejudices, that even if the actors involved in the criminal justice system don't hold prejudice, the system itself is awash in it, to the point where you don't even see it all the time, right? And we do a very good job in this country of hiding our criminal justice system from the rest of society. But let me put it this way. This program really only has two criteria in terms of the type of people we're able to help: formerly incarcerated and deeply impoverished. Those are the criteria. So why is it that this program is overwhelmingly serving African Americans?
I think historically our criminal justice system is fundamentally rooted in racism. I think it's fundamentally rooted in perceptions, and this is historical. This is historical back to the black codes here in the United States, back to convict leasing here in the United States. Our criminal justice system has an interesting relationship with those people of color and minorities in this country. You know, for a lot of our men transitioning out, the thought of an academic career or anything beyond the norm was seemingly like something that was an impossibility. And through my own personal experience and the support I received through my own journey here at the Doe Fund, it made that possible for me. As I said, I'm currently a grad student at NYU, and I have to always say the most significant moment in my life, besides my graduations and awards, was when I first initially graduated from the Doe Fund. It was a moment that, for the first time in my life, I had completed something outside of a prison sentence. Let me say this, I can't speak for America as a whole. I wish I could. I wish that I could say that our country has lived up to the idealisms of our American society, and that is all men are created equal, that all men are fair. That's the idealism. What we try to do here at NYU and what we do in our cause for social justice is to make that idealism a reality. I'm currently a grad student here at NYU studying social work with a concentration in policy. My experiences here at NYU actually has transcended what we saw at the Doe Fund, and I basically study social issues from a macro perspective. What we try to do here at NYU is to ensure that opportunities and the development of programs begin to reach those people who are disenfranchised, those people who may face poverty, those people who face social issues that affect us as a whole.
The funding we get from the city comes through the Department of Homeless Services. That's very different than saying we get money for reentry to bring people home from prison. We don't. We only get money for providing beds and food. The reentry part, that's our responsibility because we see that need. So we're funding that through donations, through grants and foundations, through people who think the way we do about this crisis of mass incarceration. And the third way that we fund this program is by earning revenue, by earning money just like a business. We go out and clean, we earn money for cleaning because different business groups and individuals will pay us to clean. The Culinary Arts Program earns money. Not only are guys training and cooking for their fellow trainees here in the facilities, but they're also baking bread for farmers markets. And there's a catering business we run here. If you're training to learn to be a pest control professional, then part of that training involves going out and actually providing those services in businesses and homes throughout New York City, and we get paid for that too. So there are three ways that we fund this very complex, very unique program: donations, government funding, and earned revenue.
Some Glendale residents are no longer complaining about trash on their streets. A nonprofit is taking care of the cleanup. Our Agnes Chung explains.
41-year-old Clarence Suber just got out of prison after serving 20 years. He is looking to get back on his feet, and he's starting by earning a paycheck cleaning up Glendale streets.
My hope through the work I do here at the Doe Fund, the work I do academically, and the work I do in research is to begin to have our federal government and state governments begin to look at models that work. And for me, again, I will always say this from my personal experiences, the Doe Fund has created a model that addresses individuals from a holistic approach. And that's from the families, from the economics, from the educational, to the social issues that some people of our society and Americans face upon re-entering society. And that is a mission even in the work I do with NYU and the work I do here at the Doe Fund, and our fundamental belief in the spirit of man and the hope and the ambitions of each and every individual.
So it's pretty much like a smooth transition in there, because if an individual see that you've actually gone through the program and then now you're here working, that gives them that motivation. Not only does it give them the motivation, but it gives you the opportunity to give back to a population that you once was a part of, or still a part of.